Posse. It's just afternoon here on the West Coast in BC for two of us. How is your climate doing for you where you're residing, Peter?
Are you talking weather right now?
Yeah, did you have to shovel?
Not recently.
Good. Some people back east are getting hit hard. PEI, I understand, had 17 feet over the weekend, or a total of 17 feet from their last snowfall. So I'm really glad I'm here on the West Coast and not the East Coast.
Well, and they can keep it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Being on the west side of the Rockies seems to be really beneficial to us right now. So I had expected Phyllis to join us, but I had not had personal communication with her today. I did send an email first thing this morning, and I'll even go back and check to make sure that got sent. Because yeah, I even got my own invite this time. That's good news.
Is she back from Malta?
No, she hasn't gone yet. This was her last chance to be involved before she left. And yeah, I did actually send her at 2:17 this morning, and I included my phone number. So hopefully it's nothing serious, but we all understand in the world of the internet and technology, things do not always work as advertised. And it may be that I sent her the wrong link, but I think I copied her my link, so she should at least be able to come in. And I did go out at the very beginning of this session and post it in her Facebook Messenger, not her Google. So sometimes people assume because we're in a Hangout that the message will be in Google. So I guess I should probably post it in both, never knowing who's going to connect. That was the case with David Marshall last week. He was sitting looking at his Google feed, and his Facebook Messenger popped up to let him know that our meeting was starting in 5 minutes. So it all works out if it's supposed to, and if it doesn't, we'll sort it out. So for topics coming up for discussion down the road, Peter, at one point you discussed wanting to share good formats for a comment, or for when you were sharing a comment, the things to look for and that sort of stuff. Would you be up for that in the next 2 or 3 weeks?
You sure that was me?
I thought it was.
Fake it, Peter.
I mean, I'm up for sharing it. You've been talking to my wife.
It's a communication form, and we all understand the value of a quality comment, but we get so few of them.
I mean, yes, I would be more than willing to share, or I am more than willing to share what I view to be a quality comment when I receive them.
Wonderful. And it wouldn't have to be on the spot right now. It's something that you could put some thought to if you wanted to, since I didn't discuss this with you. I'm just looking for things on down the road here that other people have an interest in. We're not going to always want to talk about what Michael's project this week is and or health tips, although I'm going to start giving one short health tip every session. I just was cleaning up all my office supplies, and I found a copy of a book I hadn't read yet about the wonderful product I take. So having the fact that I haven't even read it, it'll become a good random thought of the day or thought of the week about your health, because it's things I don't know myself already, so I'll get to learn as I share it.
I mean, just speaking as an outsider, or as I strongly recommend that you do that. That is your passion, and you are a leader. So, everybody has health, lack of it or otherwise. So, generically, anybody coming here should hear Michael wisdom on health. Period. Punctulus aus.
And good, and I didn't do that in the beginning, partly because I wanted to share that I was had this communication available, and partly because I didn't want it to be all about me and the company's product. I've tried to separate myself from them, with taking a lot of effort in the last to separate myself from the herd. But I'd almost forgotten what the message was.
Yeah, but that's the challenge. I mean, it has to be a health tip, not a company product tip.
Absolutely. And preferably one that's relevant to me or somebody else in my audience, because then it becomes impactful. So to that end, we're going to let the universe take care of it. And when I come to my healthy tip, I'll let you, Peter, pick a page from the new book that's sitting on my desk.
Okay.
I had the privilege of reading the introduction today when I decided it was going to be the book for the month. But that's it. I don't know about the contents. I know that it's written by a medical doctor, and I respect him, having read one of his other books and having heard him speak 5 or 6 times in the last 6 years. One of the great things about working with a research company is they actually have people that can explain things in simple English if you give them the time, although because it's a research company, nothing's ever a short answer.
Always has the legal disclaimer.
Well, and it's like
You know, you don't have to justify that. It was more a side than a remark.
I understand. And it's sort of like you when you share financial information with people. Yes, there's a legal disclaimer. You have to say that, you know, everybody's results are going to be unique, and I'm not saying you're going to make a fortune with this investment or whatever the actual content of the discussion is, but
Yep.
it was a hard part.
The society we live in, and people want. Well, I'm going to stop my editorial comment there.
Yeah, now that we're curious.
Oh, yes. So, Agnes, do you have something to bring up or to discuss or any questions before I just carry on and talk about what I'd like to talk about?
No, I was coming on to see how Phyllis was doing, and Phyllis Chubb. What can I say? She's Chillis. And so no, I actually just got a message yesterday. I don't know if you remember last week I had mentioned that that woman had contacted me about her product, and now she's.
All right.
So, have you had time to check it out? So I had said no, because she just wants a critique or something. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So that's just the only other tabs I've got open right at the moment.
Wow. So people you don't know are asking you advice for something you don't know anything about.
Well, we're acquainted.
Oh, okay.
So, but like, you know, through online business. We've known each other for a few years. But she knows I'm not interested in her product, but she still wants my critique of it for whatever reason.
Well, if she's ever seen one of your critiques, she'll realize that she'll actually get something that if she wants to hear it might be helpful.
Well, except that it's a company site, so it's.
Oh, so there's nothing she can fix or change even if you gave her good advice.
No, exactly. So I'm doing it just to get her off my back, whereas I don't really want to waste the time, quite honestly.
I understand.
So.
To that end, your critique of the company website was a little bit brutal, but exactly what was needed.
Oh, of Immunotech.
Last week.
Uh-oh. Well, I haven't been booted off yet, apparently.
Oh, no, I'm sure you won't be, actually. When I had the chance to discuss with David 2 days later over the phone, while he was sitting in an airport waiting to fly out to somewhere in Mexico, I think that would be nice if the company flied us to Mexico at some point down the road, but we'll talk to David on that subject.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, right.
They had the privilege of being there when FN there was that outbreak of the influenza in 2009. 300 Immunotech people were there for the annual convention, and nobody got sick, even the 80-year-old venerated elder that invented the product. And, you know, what happened there, thousands of people around the world got ill, so it was sort of a test for us. Yeah. We're kind of proud of being in Mexico that weekend. But I've lost my train of thought.
You were just talking about David getting on a plane.
David getting on a plane. He really appreciated the factual details and the honest criticism. One of the problems he has, I think the term was paid lackeys, they never share what he needs to hear.
Oh, well, you made the mistake of asking me.
And therein lies the rub.
I teach this all the time. There is a leadership message that you just demonstrated. and that is, be aware and be careful of surrounding yourself with A, people that are just like you, and B, yes men.
I agree. And that's part of the reason I love this group. Each one of you is unique and completely different in far as background, attitude, and interests. So we have a diverse cross section. And that was the second point David made. He actually would have liked it if there had been 2 or 3 other people that didn't know anything about Immunotech. And it was not my intention that 2/3 of the people in attendance would know something about it. But that's one of the reasons he'd like to come back in 2 or 3 weeks, because he would like some advice from completely lay people, because therein lies for him the greatest value. When he can talk to somebody that's just been exposed to what he tells them and ask for feedback, then it really is unique and useful, because he can't always talk to the people before they've been, usually when he sees them is at a company event and they've been involved for 6 months or a year or 2 or 3 years. He really gets to meet the public in the intake process, and since his job is to increase the quality of our intake process, it's really beneficial to have newbies or close to newbies giving him feedback. And when somebody brings editorial skills like Agnes, where I didn't make a list of what I wanted to cover, and that's a valuable skill that Agnes brings to the table. But the nice thing was she had her unique personal experience, which brought bearing straight onto the subject of what he needed. And honestly, that's the whole design of the group. We've talked about it before, and people have sat in the hot seat. Hold on a second, I have Phyllis here, which is why... Hello.
Phyllis has her own ringtone.
Oh, are you okay? Is Bill okay? Okay, well, I'm talking with Agnes and Peter, and if you'd like to go to your Facebook chat, you could come and join us. No, it happens, and it's. Thank you for calling, and take a deep breath and grab a glass of water. We're going to keep talking till you are comfortable. If you open up your Facebook account, I left the today's access code as a personal message. So if you go to the little thing that's two chat things. Okay, that won't be on till you hit this link. Okay, so you go to your messages. In the middle on the right, there's a people, 2 square boxes, and then a round globe. Hit the button in the middle of the 2 chat windows.
I think you have to have your Gmail open as well.
That's okay. So recently, about 20 minutes ago, I left a link that says webinarjam.net. Okay.
I think in the modern environment, you qualify as a technical expert when you stop referring to something as the green thingy.
But it is a green thingy.
Everybody knows what it is. Yeah, that non-techies understand that.
Yeah. Now the software. Okay, Phyllis. We all understand that the universe works in mysterious ways. We're just happy that you're fine and you're able to join us.
Does she have her Gmail open, Michael?
Like she's had an accident.
I'm not sure that her Gmail's open, but I know that she knows how to log into it.
It's just that it has to be open to access the Hangout.
Yeah, so you'll need to open Gmail.
Mine isn't.
Oh, because that's why I got booted off the call last week. I was closing Windows, and I closed my Gmail, and I lost the call.
Interesting.
Okay, and if you click on the link in the mail that I sent you, that
I closed Gmail to...
I will send you a new right now. And we'll
reduce, whatever they call that, bandwidth.
The bandwidth, yeah.
And all right. Can you get to your Hotmail Messenger again? Yeah. Oh, sorry, not Hotmail Messenger. Facebook Messenger. Sorry, back where we started today's discussion.
Round like a circle, spiral like a wheel within a wheel.
I'll send you a fresh one so it'll be the top of the division. Well, that's okay. We still have time allowing. We have 14 minutes.
It's funny, Agnes.
Yes.
While Michael's getting this, I'd appreciate your feedback. My sense last week. It's funny. Michael said he would like non-immunity, whatever they call the companies. My sense
Immunotech,
last week from the gentleman, David, I think we called him, was that he was irritated that I didn't know anything about Immunotech. So it's funny that it came across to me as a man that why am I wasting my time with that outsider? So,
yeah, I didn't. Interestingly, I didn't read that.
Pick that up, right? Exactly.
No, but even when he was talking to you.
There you go.
Right, exactly.
Is she on, Michael, or not?
Yeah, I am here.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just going into...
Another window popped up.
There we go.
Of a black cat in a cellar in the middle of a blackout.
Nice. Hello, Phyllis, and welcome to the noon hour Webmasters Posse session.
Just a little late.
But nonetheless welcome.
Well, thank you. Now, my mind, as you mature, your ability to remain conscious doesn't always stay with you.
I think you need a health tip.
Our consciousness becomes perforated. I
Just mute yourself and take it.
Hello.
Stay calm.
Yes, he is, but I can't get him right now. Could you please call back in half an hour? You're wonderful. Thank you. Bye. Now, I don't know what else is going to happen this morning, but...
Question, is Mercury retrograde? Is that why we're having problems with communication?
No, it can't even blame it on something as handy as that.
Some days are like that.
Yes, but we didn't need it today. Anyway. Yes, I'm practicing what I preach. When you're flustered, take a deep breath. Little sarcasm always helps. It's exceedingly therapeutic. So,
depending on who it's aimed at.
Well, no, you can just do it generally. It has more effective general application. That is something that's important to keep in the tool bag.
Not for topical use, it says on the tube.
However, my plan today had been to do a little review about consciousness and to talk to each of you and ask you if you have tried any of the things I've said, if you found yourself paying a little more attention to the voices in your head.
I have lots of voices. Sorry, it was frozen there. I wasn't sure if you were finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading lately too, so I find that I have lots of voices in my head, and I need to really separate them from what is the voice of the book and what is my voice by myself and what is my voice through the book, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
Brilliant.
So that's been interesting, plus the breathing.
Have you tried the breathing? Have you used it
Yes.
in your surgery?
Yes, I do. I do the breathing often.
And what do you notice when you hold your breath?
A collection? Like,
Mm.
it's how I collect myself now. So if I've got too much happening or too many things to stress or whatever, when I do the breathing, it's in those moments of holding it that I regain centeredness.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Because the more you can experience that togetherness, that collection, that is the first step toward something that the Buddhists call detachment. And it's detachment to the degree that whatever has you wrapped around the axle at the moment has no power.
I love that phrase. Very cool.
So it's that acknowledgement of no power coming from anything outside of yourself that is a confirmation of your consciousness.
I find the no power can go in the opposite direction too, so you can let go of things when you realize that you have no power in that department anyways. So
We have precious little power anyway.
a fact of which we are reminded often.
Our greatest power is within ourselves. And that is humongous. I don't have words strong enough to emphasize the power that we hold within. We have no power out there. And what's out there has no power over us.
Except what we allow it to
We
have.
choose to give it.
There we go.
What did you say?
We both said the exact same thing. It has only the power we choose to allow it to have.
You've got it. You've got it.
Peter and I said the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Great minds, always. Great minds.
Now, like attracts like.
Never differ.
Pardon?
Great minds think alike, fools never differ.
Yeah, isn't that the God's truth? But my grandmother used to say, 2 fools can't kiss, so give me a kiss.
Oh, Grandma's a wise woman.
Oh, yes.
Is it my imagination, or here do we do ourselves a disservice where all of those time-honored truths now, only part of them is being shared with the next generations? There's always a caveat or some detail, it would seem, that's being left out to the modern people that come behind us. Is there some truth to that?
Well, I certainly think so because, you know, I'm biased. I like to read a whole book. You know, 200 or 300 pages doesn't stop me. But I understand that for my web page, I am not to write over 200 words because people can't read that much. So, yeah, a lot of things are left out.
So then we create a self-fulfilling philosophy of limiting information in the information age. How stupid is that?
I think too, though, like it's the old story of you cater to who you want to have. So if you choose to write 2,000-word blog posts, you will only attract the people who are capable of reading that.
Reading 2,000.
And that's the choice you need to make. Like, is it easier to touch more people with snippets, or gather higher-minded people who can actually apply themselves to a larger piece of work?
Well, what I'm going to try and do is stimulate curiosity, because if I can make people sufficiently curious, then you'd be surprised how quickly they can read 500 words. You know, if they think that there's something behind there. And I do believe
it's not that they're not capable, it is that they're not motivated, and we abdicate our responsibility when we choose to not attempt to motivate. Again,
well,
that's my particular position.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And that's why I'm going to have snippets, and then I say, go over here and do something else. If
Okay,
you're
well,
interested.
I'm going to disagree with Peter, because I think the art of reading and applying yourself in larger pieces has become very limited. I think a lot of people in today's world of sound bites can only listen to sound bites. And I mean, it's not that they can't be trained or retrained, but...
Well, we know in physiology and psychology that if our ability to take information in or push information out, it's like the muscle. We have to exercise that muscle.
Right.
And when we don't exercise that muscle, our ability to read a complete sentence becomes very limited. So I think...
Again, I agree with you, Agnes, but it's more, my appeal was more to the leaders on this call to not get sucked into assuming that it must be so.
I agree with you, and I'm not. If when you say to the leaders on this call, and I'm supposed to be a guest speaker, so I'm going to say I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That's why if you go to my webpage, there's lots of little snippets, but boy, there's going to be some big pieces too, and they'll be open for you to decide to read if you so choose.
I think, Phyllis, what you're talking about is what the three of us do online already. You've come to your own version of attraction marketing, because in what we are trained to be attraction marketing, the whole point is to give the valuable information out clearly so people will know whether it's for them to listen to you more and to consume more of your stuff and start to like, trust you, and buy your products. So you're basically doing the same thing, because your product is your information pieces and you're at the same struggle we are. You have to make a decision between the quality, the size, and the quantity. And it's in those three things and a balance of them we become attractive to a larger group of people if we're aware all three things have to exist at different times and places in what we offer, so we can cater to the people that just want information to check us out, people that know something and might want to do something, and people that know a lot about us and want to do more. So you've got all three of those things present by the time you're finished setting up your presence online.
Well, listen, you just hit the nail right on the head there, because one of my biases is to be able to educate, as much as there's not a product per se. There is a mindset and there is an awareness. There are young people who I've been able to interest in doing their sciences, to go into biology, chemistry, physics, this sort of thing, because our world too has been so limited and so confining, and has left us in a very bad position. It's through this education that we can broaden world horizons, which is exactly what I hope I've offered a bit here in working with consciousness. Consciousness is not a state of having your eyes open. Consciousness is a state of awareness of a section, a portion of ourselves that is quite apart from our material form. And it's a different way of looking at the world.
And Phyllis, this brings us back to the conversation I believe we had on Sunday or Monday. You asked me why I kept asking you to come back on a regular basis. You have answered that question just in what you've shared. You really are one of us, and even though you're further along your own path, we're all on that same path. We all feel passionate about the message we share, and we're working together so each of us can express our message clearly, because it's in the 3, 4, 5 opinions we're going to get the information we need to coalesce what we're working on, to focus on the group of people like we're getting advice from. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for coming.
We all are following our truth, whatever our truth might be. At least let's be conscious of it.
Well, and because we're all on a journey, we respect each other's journeys, which is part of the reason why this can work for a group of people.
Well, I think this is great. So now, Peter, have you become more aware of the voices in your head?
Yes, and I certainly loved Agnes's description of them being a tripartite. You know, the voices that are monkey chatter, the voices that come from within, and the voices that are a combination of essentially inner insight into what your current course of study might be. So that, I think, one of the most, you call it breathe. One of the phrases that came to me was given to me a while ago was stop, change, shift, which, you know, the stop is the act of breathing, and the act of breathing creates a detachment, if I heard the word that you used, from the currently exciting, you know, in a positive or a negative fashion. The stop, the breathe, creates by definition a detachment from the pace that was going before, and that allows then what I believe when athletes talk about being in the zone, essentially it slows down, that breath slows things down sufficiently so that you become both a participant and an observer, and it's in that combination that magic starts to happen.
So then you've been experiencing that more frequently? Is that what you're saying?
And in as much as I take that breath more frequently, I experience it more frequently. Can I say that I'm always doing it? No, but I am aware that I have the tool of inhaling, as do we all. And that tool of inhaling has been, you know, described by you and endorsed by others, described by others and endorsed by you. Either way, it doesn't matter. The value of that tool is something that I have become aware of and apply to my benefit.
Oh, perfect. Then
Phyllis,
I have, yes.
I was just going to ask, is there a point in time, because I know there's times, and I think just with my current situation with my housemates and my trying to sell my house, where I do get sucked into, I guess, yeah, I get caught up on the axle. I love that. I'm going to remember that one. My hair gets just wrapped around that axle. And I have to make a conscious decision of, wait a minute, this is so non-productive. And then I do my breathing. Whereas I guess my question is there a point in time where the the levels can reach a certain point within you that it's like it kicks in as the antidote.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But it takes
Don't
2
for
to
me
5
yet.
years.
Okay, now I've got that much time.
Yep. Yeah, and you rarely get tossed out after that.
Oh, good. So I'll keep working on it. I'll write it on the wall. Breathe.
There are a number of things that you need to become aware of, to work with. Now, I believe I did some work with you, did I not? I did.
We had a day together, yes.
Yeah. Did you find anything in there beneficial?
Oh, absolutely. You blew me away.
Then that's just showing you that there's a crack in the door.
All right. I'll put my foot in it.
Well, you will when you're good and ready, and not before. You will know within yourself when you are ready to take another look at yourself. And it's not for anyone else to tell you. You can't set a date. You will know. And that in itself is part of being conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Being aware of when you are ready and prepared to take more information. So I'm not trying to push you off.
Oh, yeah, no. And I know for me, I think I'm very close to that point, but I'm also very well aware of the fact for you that, like, you have this very massive, great thing in front of you that, you really need to apply yourself to.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, no, I mean, I would love to look further into
Oh,
what you
sure.
can help me with.
Oh yeah, well, we'll do when you're good and ready.
Yeah.
And
Well, when you get back from Malta, though, is what I'm saying.
oh, I see. Okay. When I get back to Malta, I'm going to have my head wrapped up. I'll tell you. I'm really looking forward to it. The prep notes for the lectures are out, and there's yet another chart. It's yet another level. It's phenomenal.
Huh?
So I'm quite looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. Great.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this depth of learning is, long as no one asks you how you got there, it just comes so fast.
Yeah.
So that's good. As long as you don't have to explain it.
I understand that.
Can you give us sort of an overview of what this phase of your training is going to look like and what you're hoping to take away from it?
I just finished a 6-year course, a weekly 2-hour lecture involving many hours through each week. The study of relatively a current Rishi. I believe Jaimini was around the time the birth of Christ, one of the later ones. And this level is going more to the understanding of the earlier Rishi, because what Jaimini has done is explained what the first Rishi talked about, because they assumed so much knowledge, so much awareness, that it was impossible. You can read it on many levels, but once you understand what is being said, then the whole world opens up. And an example of that is the work that Heisenberg, a physicist, did with translations of the Vedas with an Indian poet, actually, Tagore. He was able to arrive at his formula for uncertainty, from which he received a Nobel Prize in 1972.
Wow.
Now, this is the work that I am doing in understanding and working with those energies in our tripod, if I can call us a tripod, of mind, body, and soul. And yes, it's most interesting. And I hope that tells you something.
Wow.
Well, I guess I didn't.
Made sense to me, sort of, and I've been following you for a long time. So really, what you're talking about is it's like there's degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, until they're all present and you're aware of all the steps involved. You can't even see there is a whole picture. But as soon as you see the whole picture, it is just the first picture in a series. Does that make more sense?
Here's another way of putting it. There are 13 of us in the world who will be given this information.
Others.
Yeah.
That makes you a special select group.
And what do you, is there an expectation about what you will do with that?
That is what I'm hoping is going to come out of Malta. Some ability to release this information. We certainly it's been impressed upon us, and it's logical. I mean, you don't let this information out in the corner, I'll tell you. But how we can go about letting it out, because there is this shift that started in 2000 in world consciousness, and you can see it in the young children, the young babies being born. This information must go forward. It must. There are times and places for it, but it must be done in a way that's not destructive.
So really you have to make sure the wrong people don't get the information before it's beneficial to the masses.
That's right. And I know that
all the masses are beneficial to it.
Pardon?
Or that the masses are beneficial to it.
The masses are beneficial to it.
My point being, if I understood you correctly, there was a certain amount of preparation that was required on your part to be able to take this in and do something constructive with it.
Yes. Yes.
So when Michael said, don't let it out until it's ready for the masses, it's more be aware of who in the masses are in a position to properly respect and work upon the information that is so powerful.
And that is why the study is so long, because many people fall away. Yeah. So I feel very honored to be part of this study.
But you've also gotten yourself to this level.
Exactly.
That's testament to your...
It's a testament to your application to preparation.
Tenacity. It's my greed. It's my greed for the information.
Phil, this brings us to the second reason we enjoy your attendance. We're all striving to learn as much as we can about communication, and really what you teach is how to communicate with yourself. So you really are sort of our resident expert, not just in your skill set, but as we are all seekers of higher knowledge, you are a teacher of higher knowledge, so it is appropriate that you come on a regular basis and share with the people willing to listen.
Well,
So we'll see you in 8 weeks.
Yes. So, if I've done enough today, I don't know that I've given you anything more to take away with than a consciousness of the importance of your personal awareness. And that's the start. and the ability, whenever you notice that, whenever you do it, you take a deep breath, you begin to feel that separation between my PowerPoint and the illusion. When you do that, say thank you to yourself. Start to treat yourself with the same respect that you've been taught to treat others, rather than just demanding from yourself, because we've all had friends who said, gimme, gimme, gimme. You know how long you keep them. So why are you going to beat up on yourself and then expect yourself to do something for you?
Point taken.
Can I just reflect on that? Because I think that is such an important point. It was in my current state of mental evolution. One of the things that you know, from the Christian prayer, there was the second great commandment: love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I you know, in my current phase, and there are no coincidences, so I am here to ask this as a question, but one of the things that really hit me was that I don't love myself enough. So if I was to love everybody in the same way that I love myself, I wouldn't love them enough, because I don't, you know, it's that whole self-respect, self-belief.
So why do you think everybody's shooting everybody else?
Say that again, sorry?
Why do you think everybody's shooting everybody else? It's easy to shoot something you don't like.
Exactly. Or have been
So
taught
as
to
you
not
love
respect.
yourself, as you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're not going to hurt yourself. So you're not going to hurt your neighbor. But if you don't respect yourself, if you don't honor yourself and acknowledge yourself, you'll rub out your neighbor in the hopes that something good's going to happen for you.
And you know, that is there is. I'm trying to get to grips with. So I'm bringing this up, asking for feedback. But I'm trying to get to grips with the perniciousness of people telling people to not be selfish, or working on yourself is selfishness, as if working on yourself was something evil, because we're taught to not be selfish. We're taught that there isn't abundance in the world. We're taught to be greedy, not almost in an unconscious manner.
Well, I think it's in a very conscious manner, to tell you the truth, because I'm a little more cynical than you are. Number one, this business of being selfish because you're doing for yourself keeps you in a position of dependence.
Mm-hmm.
If you look after yourself first, then you're going to be able to do for others with an open heart and an open hand, because you'll do it when you have the strength and the wherewithal to do it, as opposed to doing it because you want to show you're not selfish, and then you resent the hell out of the person. So, no. Do for yourself first, from your base, with your consciousness. You will also know the pleasure of giving as opposed to the pleasure of hoarding.
Wow. And
And I'm going to be quiet now.
Well, thank you both, because it's in the interaction between the people in attendance that the little bits and pieces help us fit it all together, because no one other person can understand all the thoughts and actions of one other person. But when you two went back and forth there, it really helped me to see that this applies to all of us. And I'd recently done a post about how the history with my mother had led me down the path that I had that hadn't been very profitable, because my mother taught me that you give, give, give until you have no more, because that was her life experience and the journey I observed till she passed away at 64, having given all of herself to those people she valued. So thank you all for helping me clarify my own message and made me more able to see it and deal with it.
That's good. And that opens a tin of worms too. So we're going to just close that lid and sign off for the day.
Fair enough, but we all get where we need to go when we're ready for it.
Anyway,
Thanks,
people,
Phyllis.
I do apologize.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Okay. Take care and have fun.
Thank you, and take care.
Okay.
Signing
Bye-bye.
off.